Welcome back to It Was Never a Phase Cards. In today's video, we're talking all about promos again. We have one specific Pokemon that is just continuing to shatter records, and then we also have some exclusive promos that are not so exclusive anymore to talk about. Let's just jump straight into the record-breaking numbers. And we're going to start off with none other than Pikachu, because there are two specific Pikachu promos you may have seen in the thumbnail that are just continuing to shatter records. Look at what we were seeing from the Pikachu with Gray Felt Hat promo. This card is currently over $600. Market is at $609. It's up 53% in the past 3 months. This is the card that will not stop. It just keeps chugging up and up and up. We are seeing a lot of promos right now, either level off or we're seeing some that are dipping, but this is the big exception. It just keeps climbing. If you look at the 1 year chart, obviously all-time high, right? 288% on the year. A year ago, this was $157. It did hit $350 back here in March, cooled off down to $320 before its $609 run. Most recent sales are actually at $650, so this card's going to continue to trend up, and all the lowest listeds on TCG Player are at $650. The listed median price is $737. The Gray Felt Hat Pikachu just keeps climbing, and it's not going to stop. It doesn't look like, at least for the foreseeable future, it's going to continue to trend upwards. PSA 10 prices have fallen a little bit, but they're still trending up overall, because we did see some sales in the 2000 range. But just for reference, these were sold right here. You see a June 8th sale and an April 19th sale of $830 and $810. So that was just a few months ago. More recently, these are what we're seeing as far as PSA 10 sales. Around $1,700. This one went on bids, and then another one around $1,700. So currently, PSA 10 pricing is around $1,700. And there are an absolute ton of these cards in a PSA 10. Look at the pop report right here. We have 94,000 cards being graded with 43,000 in a 10. Pretty decent gem rate overall, but it does create a little bit of scarcity compared to how many have been graded. Also, with the price of this card, I think PSA 9s are starting to become in demand as well, just because you want a clean copy, it's encased. So PSA 9 market actually being a thing on this card, I think, obviously much more affordable, but, definitely an aspect. But this card pales in comparison to the most graded, the most PSA 10s of all time. And it is another Pikachu card. It is the McDonald's promo card, the Burger Chew. Here we're looking at TCG Player just to see raw prices, and currently it's around $40. It's fluctuated a little, came out around 50, dipped to 30, back up to 65, and then currently down to like lower to mid 40s currently for this card raw. Now this is where it gets very interesting, where it's breaking records, is on the PSA 10 side. Not a very expensive card in a PSA 10. It has moved up recently. You see pretty much around the 130s is kind of what we're seeing for the last solds. Before that, it was down around 115. It had trended up. So it was a little bit of a fluctuation. The card is moving up a little bit, but the pop report is where this card is very interesting. There are over 60,000 10s of this card. The most graded Pokemon, the most gemmed out Pokemon card, with 66,885 cards being graded and over 60,000 10s. So if you're looking at picking up this card specifically, and if you want it in a 10, you have a really great chance just to buy a raw copy and grade it yourself. You'd save yourself some money. Very easy. If you got a nicely centered card, you have a very high chance to add a 10. So this card has graded very easily, and that kind of makes sense with the style of the card that it is. So just an insane number, 60,829. And this is an article from the Card Codex. This came out on October 16th. So this is 4 days ago as of this recording, just to get a little bit of perspective of just how many of these cards are being graded. They talked about how this had the most PSA 10s in the world as of this article, and they were at 53,000 4 days ago. So we jumped up to over 60,000. So in 4 days, they've added 7,000 cards to the PSA 10 pop report, if you can believe that. So Pikachu cannot be stopped. The promos are continuing to dominate, and this is a very affordable card right now, all things considered. It is just a McDonald's promo, so we'll have to see kind of long-term where this card ends up. It's obviously not Gray Felt Hat level, but it'd be very interesting, something to keep an eye out on. Next up is a card that I mentioned recently I want to continue to talk about. This is the Bulbasaur, the stamped version, the Mega Evolution stamped version. We do have an update on pricing and a little bit more information on the PSA 10 side. Now, this was a card that I, at release, it was $47, $48. It dipped around 26, then it shot back up. And I was like, oh, that might have been the buying opportunity. But I'm glad I waited. This is a card I was considering picking up multiple copies to potentially grade because I do like this card a lot, and I think I like the stamped version. But it's fallen off from 47 down into the 20s. Currently, lowest listeds are around 25. So this is one I'm keeping an eye on. I might wait a little longer to see how far it can fall. I don't know if it's going to fall into the teens, but it's definitely a possibility. So just one I've been keeping an eye on, a little bit of an update for you. And we do have an update sort of on the PSA 10 side. Right here, you will see this is that listing we talked about the other day. It was the first ever graded. I still don't know why they put Pop 0. It would be Pop 1. But anyways, this listing did sell for the asking price of $4.99. I did double check on 130 point. It did sell for $4.99. So the first one ever obviously sold for a pretty high price. I would expect that the other copies would be much more affordable, first to market. I think if I was the person selling this, I maybe would have listed it a little higher just to see. But anyways, he did get his asking price, and that's a big come up on that card. I would expect that price to drop in the future. But what we are seeing now, and here's the sold listing. You can see when it sold 9:10 a.m. on Friday. The pop has gone up, but looks like this card might be a little bit more difficult to grade than we anticipated. Maybe this promo doesn't quite have the print run that the main cards did, because those seem really crisp and really easy to grade. It's currently a Pop 3. There's 3 10s with 21 being graded. So maybe this card, we obviously need more data to really get a better look at it, but this could be one that maybe is a little bit tougher to grade. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. So that's currently where we're at with the box toppers. We'll have to see if those other two PSA 10 copies pop up on eBay. I haven't seen them pop up, at least as of this recording. They might be on eBay by the time you're watching this video, or maybe, they're just staying in someone's collection. We don't know. So definitely something interesting. I do have a copy that I think is pretty clean, so I will be sending that off in a later PSA order. So I'm not in a rush to do it or anything. I don't want to be like first to market and flip it. I just want to grade it for my own collection. But if I do pick up a few additional copies, that would be kind of a potential to grade and flip sort of thing. So the Bulbasaur promo looking good so far. I like that the price has been dropping. Before we go any further, I did real quickly want to talk about the sponsor of today's video, which is the card centering calculator. And this kind of actually pairs perfect since we've been talking a lot about PSA 10s. If you're new to grading, it can be a little daunting, especially when it comes to, there's so much to consider. If you want to eliminate the centering issue and just know, does your card meet PSA 10 requirements, or maybe you're going for tag 10, CGC, Beckett, whatever you're looking at, check out the card centering calculator. There'll be a link in the description. You can take like a nice high resolution image and just zoom in real far like you're seeing in this video. And it will auto detect the edges. Sometimes it's off a little, but you just zoom in and you put that exactly. It's going to tell you exactly the centering. You can see right here the percentages. So if you're talking about, if you've heard people talk about 60-40, 55-45, these are the percentages that they're talking about, and you're going to see that. So you don't have to hold the little thing over the card anymore, like the little card centering, like Dealy Bop, I don't know what it's called, but you put it over. You can just take a high resolution on your phone, and this is a completely free to use app. There is a paid version if you want to unlock a few additional features, but it is completely free to use, and there will be a link in the description. Works great for Pokemon cards, sports cards, pretty much any card that you want to consider grading. So make sure you check that out, link in the description. And then I wanted to talk about these exclusives that are not really exclusives as much anymore. It's kind of weird, kind of what's been happening with some of these exclusives. For the simplified Chinese, the sets that have been coming out, they've been catching up to kind of where we're at, and they've been combining a lot of sets while getting exclusives. So currently right now, they're working on their set called Arcane Truth, which I think is a cool name, and they're combining sets. They're combining Obsidian Flames and Paradox Rift. So you can see right here, obviously, this is what some of the cards will look like. Obviously cards we've seen before. This is, got Gardevoir on there. But what they are getting is an Iron Hands getting a lot of attention. They're getting an exclusive Iron Hands SAR, which, I think it's a fine looking card, but I don't know why Iron Hands is getting quite so much attention. But anyways, it is what it is. So they're getting that. But the thing that is a little bit more interesting, and here's some of the other exclusives that they've gotten in the past. This Arcanine, they did it with their Scarlet and Violet base. If you remember, Arcanine and Gyarados got a full art, but they gave Arcanine an SAR. They didn't give Gyarados one. I kind of have beef with that. But anyways, it's a really nice looking Arcanine card. I do like this one a lot for a nice Chinese exclusive. And there's some other great cards as well. Fetching some pretty decent prices on the secondary market as well. A few golds, stuff like that. So that's what they've been doing. But one thing that we're starting to see is they're also going to do this. So in addition to that set, starting November 7th, China will be bundling a 2-card promo pack within certain box products to commemorate Scarlet and Violet era. It will contain multiple set reprints, including the SIR Greninja EX that was previously exclusive. So it was in English, that was our promo card, and in traditional Chinese, but now it's going to be in simplified Chinese, if I'm understanding that correctly. And this card was never released in Japan. So, Japan's not getting it, but they are getting another version of this card. So I don't know how much that's going to affect our English promo, if at all. I don't think it really will. And I don't know if it's going to be more expensive because it's in this little 2-pack promo or not. I'm not really sure the availability of this. So it might be something we'll have to keep an eye on and to kind of see how it pans out. But here are some of the other cards that are going to be apparently in this little 2-card pack. So they've definitely been mixing it up. Obviously, you got from 151, you got all sorts of different sets that they're including. So I think it's kind of fun that they're combining sets. But that got me thinking about the Greninja. So I wanted to do a little bit of an update on this card. An absolutely stunning promo card, one of the best of the era, hands down. But this card, it's up 48% still. It's been climbing. Back here it was around $40. It peaked to around 65. It's come down just a little, down to around 60 currently, and lowest listeds are high 59s, low 60s. So it's right there with the current market price. If you zoom out on the 1-year chart, obviously this card's looking real good. 351%. A year ago, a $13 card, it shot up to 40, came back down to 27, back up to 47, down to 38, and then obviously where we're at now, up to a current 60, just a little bit off of this all-time high just a few weeks ago. So still looking very good. PSA 10s for this here are the more recently sold. You can see October 20th, October 19th, 840. This is for the pair right here with the Kingdra. So kind of around between 400 and 450 right here. 450, and then another one down here at 405. Just for reference, it did pull up. Sometimes I hate, but I also like when you just are on eBay and you're trying to check out the recently solds. Sometimes it puts a really old listing at the top. I don't know why, but just for reference, June 5th, 2025, $165 in a 10. So just for a little point of reference, this card has jumped up in a 10 quite a bit. Very nice looking card. I love this promo. And then next up, I did want to also just real quickly talk about that Arcanine exclusive card. We've mentioned it a few times, but I like to bring it up because I think it's a nice looking card. Here are the most recent sales for a raw near mint copy. Pretty much around 190, and then one here as high as 220. If you scroll up a little bit, we can see a PSA 10 sale going on bids right here for $445. So decent little markup for this card in a PSA 10. Very nice card. Would love to add this to my collection. Don't currently have it. But yeah, it's really nice. I don't have too many simplified Chinese cards currently. I do like what they're doing. They're getting a lot of really cool exclusives. And I am a big fan of that. I wish that they would maybe spread out some of those exclusives to more languages. I'd like to see a few more English, a few more Japanese, and kind of spread them out a little bit more. But hey, they got to give people some, a reason to check out these simplified Chinese cards. So that's the Arcanine. And then I just wanted to do a quick update on some of the bigger promos from 151. We're not seeing, or not from 151. Sorry, this one's from 151, from the Scarlet and Violet era. This is the Snorlax. We're going to look at some Pokemon Center stamps right here. And this one's, it's still up 89% in the past 3 months. It's just slowed down a little, right? It peaked at around 260. It's only down a few bucks. So a lot of these cards right now are in a leveling off consolidation phase. Nothing wrong with that. It's just, the growth is not continuing. It's happened so much. 89% in the past 3 months is a lot. If you zoom out on the 1 year, 161% growth. A year ago, $98 card, went up to around 200, came back down to 130, and now we're at where we're currently at. So we'll have to see where this one ends up. But a little bit of a consolidation period. We'll see how this pans out moving into the holidays. Similar situation with the Charmander, number 044, Pokemon Center stamped, up around 116%. $106 card back here, up to around 250. It's come down a little. It's at 230 currently. And this one looks like it's on a bit more of a dip. Lowest listeds are actually in the 180s. So you can pick this card up. There's not that many listings, just a handful in the 180s, then it goes back up into the 190s. So maybe a little bit of a buying opportunity for the stamped Charmander promo. If you look at the 1 year, obviously we've seen similar fluctuations, 207% from 75 up to 173, down to 90, and then up to where we're at currently. Team Rocket's Wobbuffet, the Destined Rivals Pokemon Center stamp promo, is doing very good in the past few months here, up 123%, and kind of leveling off more recently, pretty much just this month in October, kind of around the upper 150 mark. Not a ton of sales have been happening, but some pretty good gains. If you zoom out, you will see this card pretty much has only had an upper trajectory at release around 46, and then it's just climbed currently to where it's at. Lowest listeds are a little lower in the 130s. So if you were looking to pick up this card, you can pick it up at around a $20-something discount currently, at least for the time being. Lastly, or this is not lastly, but next up is the Eevee, number 173 Pokemon Center stamped. It's up 90%. It is falling a little. Let's see what it does on the last month. It's down 8%. Nothing crazy, right? It did shoot up to around 112, and then it fell down to currently just over $100. Lowest listeds aren't, just a few bucks less, in the upper 90s. This is one that, excuse me, I got a little bit of a throat thing going on, if you couldn't tell. But this is one that I do believe in long term. I think you're going to see similar numbers to both the Charmander and the Snorlax. Just give it a little bit more time. So that's currently where we're at. If we zoom out on the 1 year, you can see this card did peak at $153 back in March. It hasn't been able to get back to that point, and then dropped to a low of $50. So if you bought at 50, you're in a really good place right now. You have had doubled your price. So this card, I think, is at a good point. I can't wait to see what it does long term. I'll keep you guys updated, obviously. Next up is the Mimikyu Pokemon Center stamped. This one had some very massive growth recently. You can see a ton of sales right here, but up to around $88, $89. It's only dropped a few dollars down into the lower 80s right now. Looking real good on the 1 year as well, 369%. So the promos are still in a very good place, right? A lot of, especially the Pokemon Center stamped ones, while they're dropping a little or consolidating, it's nothing really to worry about. And then lastly, I did want to talk about this card as well. Not a Pokemon Center stamp, but the Eevee, the Food Platter promo number 174. This one's on a little bit of a dip more recently in the past month, dropping around 20%, I think is very interesting. The box that this comes out of right here, this SPC, is starting to get expensive. It's continuing to climb. So we'll have to see where this one ends up. If we zoom out, I think the 6-month chart should show everything. 36, down to 20, then up to 48, and down to kind of 39 where it's currently at. Lowest listeds are just a little bit below that. We'll have to see where this one does long term as well. But yeah, a little bit of a buying opportunity off of this high, previous all-time high of kind of around $50 down into the upper 30s. So promos are doing really well. Let me know in the comments how you guys feel. I want to mainly get everyone's impressions, if you're this far in, mostly around what we talked about in the beginning, right? The gray felt hat situation, the burger chew, kind of all of that, because gray felt hat just continues to defy expectations of it just keeps going up. It hasn't stopped. It's like the card that it's like Thomas the Tank Engine, the card. It just chugs and chugs and chugs and climbs that mountain. So at some point, you'd think that card's got to stop. But it's proven me wrong multiple times. So, I'm the first to admit that. But the Burger Chew thing being with so many graded copies, I think is another interesting one. I want to see where that card ends up long term. Obviously, there's a ton of people grading it, and a ton of people selling it. I don't know. I wonder how many are looking to snatch up that card and like just keep in their personal collection. So we'll have to see kind of where that shakes out. Because obviously, having that amount of graded cards, 60,000, that seems like a lot. And it is a lot. But there's, so many, we have, millions of Pokemon fans across the world. So that number, in comparison isn't very high. So, and maybe it's just one of those generational cards that just like, it's not the gray felt hat, but it's a few steps down, obviously. And I don't know, maybe we'll see some interesting numbers long term on that. So something I'll be following closely. And I'll keep you guys updated as things progress. If you're this far in the video, and you haven't turned off, obviously you enjoyed the content, you didn't hate it enough to turn off. So make sure you hit that subscribe button with notifications on, as I do post usually a Pokemon Market update video every single day. I'll do all the research so you guys can stay up to date with what's moving and what's not. So that's all I have. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And remember, it was never a phase.